Michigan Public's Winter Member Drive begins on Giving Tuesday, December 2nd. But you don't have to wait. If you received a letter or email from us, please reply or visit michiganpublic.org/donate today. Your support keeps trusted news strong.
When the dish started, I really wanted to be on it. When you guys started this, I was like, oh my God, I've got the right dish for it, and it's going to be crepe cannelloni. It's not jazzy. I mean, this is like, if anyone listening to this is like, oh, what's a Michelin star chef who's lived in 27 countries going to cook me? Well, I'm going to cook you one thing my mother used to cook. And it was all about leftovers.
For Kieron Hales, his mom's crepe cannelloni transports him back to his childhood in England, long before he became executive chef and managing partner of Zingerman's Cornman Farms. He's cooked for presidents and royalty, worked in some of the world's most exclusive kitchens. But before all of that, there was his mom's kitchen where he learned to love cooking.
My mother used to make hedgehog rolls. It's probably not an American thing, but like when you made your first bread. So you got the roll, you shape it a little oblongy, and then you pierce it with scissors to make the hedgehog back, and then you put little raisins in the eyeballs. I think that's probably the first thing I did with my mum way back when.
Never heard of it.
It seems like a very British thing to do. It was just like one of those kids things you got to play with dough, and it didn't really matter how it came out on the other end.
I'm Mercedes Mejia, and this is The Dish, a podcast telling Michigan's food stories, one dish at a time. Today, we're talking to Chef Kieron Hales about the dish that shaped him, his mom's crepe cannelloni, what he takes away from cooking at the highest levels of the culinary world, and what it means to create meals that become memories. Zingerman's Cornman Farms is a farmhouse and event space where couples host dreamy barn weddings with farm-to-table menus curated by Kieron. Thank you.
Have you ever had elderflower cordial?
As we sit down in the farmhouse to talk, Kieron offers us some of his elderflower cordial. It's a delicate, floral, and lightly fermented drink.
We make it, and it's like the first thing I did when I came to Michigan. So I used to love it when you go up and down the Huron River and you would be able to pick elderflower. So when the very first day I got off to Plano and made it with my sister.
I love that. It's a perfect welcome to this place, a way to taste where he's landed. So while working in London, Kieron met Ari Weinsweig, co-founder of Zingerman's, a family of food businesses in Ann Arbor. Their shared passion for great food and meaningful hospitality sparked a lasting connection.
You started Cornman Farms, is it in 2008, I believe?
Well, 2008 was like purchase. And
Okay.
then we went through a lot of we were there.
But this was your idea.
Yeah, which is always like when things are going well, it's great to be your idea. When things aren't, it's still your idea. In 2008, I originally wanted to own a bed and breakfast and a canning and jarring business. So when I came here and I interviewed or met with Alex, who ran the Roadhouse, and Ari, I had brought all these cans and jars of foods I'd made in the UK. I don't actually know how they made it through customs, but they all did. And I was like, this would be a really fantastic thing to do. The farm agricultural thing had kind of just got started. And then I realized, writing the business plan, I'd have to make tens of thousands of cans and jars. And I was like, no, that wasn't exactly what I meant. I just want to have the fun of picking some things from the fields and preserving them. And in sitting down, Zingerman's does a wonderful thing of writing visions. And so we sit down and we're very future focused and we'll be at this point in the future, it's going to be like this. And you talk as though you're already there. And sitting down, we do something called hot penning. So you sit there and you just write. And I remember writing my first vision. I'm like, because Ari was in this class with me, the founder of Zingerman's, and I'm like, Ari's just leaning over me. I don't know what else to write. He's telling me to write a vision, and I'm just writing these things on this bit of paper right now. Because I wasn't sure what I wanted. And for years, and probably the majority of my life, I'd always done something for somebody else. I'd always cooked for somebody else. I'd always thought that I had to make somebody else happy. I didn't really know what I wanted. And so that process and journey took about 24 rewrites of a vision to get to what I really wanted. And the ability to give somebody a perfect day, if there is such a thing, was really what came from it. And being able to do weddings and events, you have such control over all of it. It's a known quantity within reason. There's always people that turn up that are not meant to, or people that don't. But in general, you know how many people are coming, you've rewritten the menu, you've got a lot of things to your benefit than you don't have in a restaurant. And so we've had the situation where we get to grow a vegetable for them, a year in advance. We'll plant the seed, literally plant the seed to grow them something. And that's That's a pretty magical thing. So that's what came from it, and I still get to can and jar and preserve things mostly just for myself, so my own enjoyment. The elderflower cordial we get to sip on today is just something I do for fun. And so that's a piece for like non-alcoholic beverages. We get to have that.
Before coming to Michigan, Kieron had worked at several notable establishments, including the 3 Michelin star Paul Bocuse in France, Dal Pescatore in Italy, Tantris in Munich, and the French Laundry in California.
You've cooked in some of the world's finest kitchens. I mean, starting with the Royal Academy of Culinary Arts. You've worked at Michelin star restaurants and cooked and lived in 27 countries. Has your idea of a meaningful meal changed over the years?
110%. When I started out, I wanted to be that Michelin star chef. Like, I wanted to be known, not even by the general public. I remember specifically way back when I wanted to be known like by the chefs and respected by the chefs, and that was it. I spent a lot of my career shooting after that. So when you said I've lived in 27 countries, I don't think I ever applied for a job ever in my entire life. It was the old boys club, and it really was the boys club back then. But the chef would send you to another country like, oh, you need a little bit more fish experience. You should go work here, and you get sent. And so I did that for years and years, and I was just getting pumped up and ready to own my own place. And there was a point in a restaurant where I was working, and I didn't know where the food had come from. I knew we'd spent the most on it. I knew we had the very best chicken, we had the very best duck, the very best vegetables from the best farm, and it was somewhere in Portugal. And I remember feeling so stupid. And it was before it was really popular for everyone to know where all their food had come from. Like, I'm a 82 child, so I remember, like, all of a sudden I was like, wow, I really don't understand the farm or the person where it came from. And it started to change my mind. And I think it's like when Marco Pierre White decided he wanted to not be in the restaurant industry, handed back his stars, and he wanted to own a pub. I just wanted to cook really good food that made people emotional and took them back. Both my parents have passed away, and like food to me is that time travel device. Like, I can go back to be with my dad at that candy store eating like rope apple candy and dandelion and burdock, or the dish that we're going to cook later today. We've got crepe cannelloni. That's like being with my mother in the home kitchen, and I feel like I'm 6 or 7 years old doing that. And so now that feels much more of like what I want to do, what feels more satisfying, much more enjoyable. Pretty pictures on plates and cooking food perfectly is great, and it's an amazing skill to have. I feel honored that I got to have that journey, but it doesn't really change when you're teaching your 10 and 12-year-old how to cook. It's really like, how do you connect them with the food? And so like, I want my kids to remember rolling fresh pasta with me in the kitchen, making that brownie. Like, I think we finally have decided what the Hales household brownie is. It's not as good as Zingerman's bakehouse brownie, but it's ours, which is kind of fun. And now that's it. Like, that's their recipe. And I think that's way more satisfying than anything else I've ever done. Like, I've cooked for 3 US presidents. I've cooked for the royal family. Like, I've done presidential weddings. Like, none of it is quite as magical as like, oh, this is gonna be our family's brownie recipe. Like, that's a very powerful thing.
At Cornman Farms, Kieron works with clients to create custom wedding menus, crafting memorable meals, or recreating family favorites, and providing them with the recipes to keep.
That's wonderful. What does it mean to be rooted here now after all those years of, being around the world?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and all of a sudden I stopped traveling. Like, when I got here, I just stopped. And you could not have convinced me that I was going to be in Michigan. Like, I've literally lived in 27 countries. Big cities, small places, there is something very magical about this spot. If you draw a line from where we are right now across the planet, it's basically in line with where I grew up. So I feel like I ran as far away from my tiny little village of 300 people and ended up in a kind of a very similar spot. I feel like so comfortable here in a way I've never been in how I've traveled. It made me want to stop, and to have the support of the local agriculture, the local chef community, the people around us is amazing. My wife's family are from Tecumseh, and then all of like middle Michigan. And there's hundreds of them is how I feel about my wife's family. So I got to like get a whole family around me. Most of my family, with my mum and dad passed away. My aunts and uncles are mostly gone at this point. It's something very nice to be wrapped around by that family and community. And now like I'm the chef in the family. Like, most of them are teachers. And so I get to be like the person who brings good food to them, which some of them need it.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Kieron makes us his mom's crepe cannelloni. a one-of-a-kind creation that takes comfort food to a whole new level. Plus, what it's like creating food memories for couples on their wedding day. Be right back.
Michigan Public is resilient because of you. Our winter member drive begins on Giving Tuesday, December 2nd. But you don't have to wait. If you received a letter or email from us, please reply or visit michiganpublic.org/donate today. Your support keeps trusted news strong.
For me, there's a sweetbread similar to panettone that transports me back to my grandfather's kitchen. Or when I crave a comfort food, I make his stewed chicken, a tomato-based dish with carrots and potatoes, all braised until tender and served over white rice. For Kieron, it's his mom's crepe cannelloni that fills his heart with memories.
My mother would make cottage pie. She would turn that leftover cottage pie into bolognese. She would put lots of vegetables in it. So I said this bolognese that I've got has 27 different ingredients in it. But my mother would probably have put in like 12 to 16 different things in it. It's got lots of red wine, port, and brandy in it. My mother would cook with booze because she was usually sipping it while cooking with it at the same time. My mother would also make pancakes on a Monday. And when I say pancakes, they were crepes. And she'd always make way too many. My mother's love language / deal with any stress or didn't want to talk to you was make more food.
It may not have been evident at the time, but Kieron's mom was doing the same creative thinking a chef uses in the kitchen, making one thing in bulk that can later become 3 or 4 different dishes.
And so if we needed 20 crepes, she made 46. And so there was always some extra of something. And so she would take the leftover crepes, she'd stuff them with the bolognese, roll them, make a bechamel, and she'd lashings of this over the crepe cannelloni and then bake it till it's all those crispy burnt bits on the outside. And it was one of the best things of my childhood. It was the thing I wish she'd made every day. I always like when you've got one ingredient, it becomes many different things, or you keep upcycling it into something. And there's, as chefs in kitchens, you do that any heck. But like my mother was way before her time and all of that. So like she probably made like 6 things a week, and then they turned into 28 different dishes for us and they always tasted different. It was very impressive.
Luckily, Kieron made everything ahead of time. Every element has layers upon layers of flavor built in at each step. Take the bechamel sauce, for example. He makes a fresh batch and walks us through the process.
When you make it at home, this is what you're going to do. You've got milk that's at the end of its buy me date.
Okay.
So it happens. My kids sometimes don't drink all of their milk. Put it into a quart container, a glass jar, anything, and you are going to put your scrap onions in. So not your perfect onions. I mean like your skins and your pieces in here. You're going to put all of these things in and not heat it up. You're just going to put it in the jar, seal it, give it a couple of days just to be by itself. For us being able to see what's in there, we've got some rosemary, parsley, bay leaf, a little bit of cayenne, a whole world of cloves. Like not garlic cloves, but cloves. Mm-hmm. I love that flavor. Got a little bit of grated nutmeg, some tilla cherry black pepper, some Maldon sea salt, and then some Dijon mustard. I know it's French mustard. I know, judge me as you will. And then, okay, there's burnt garlic. And you're like, Kieron, did you burn garlic? And I'm like, yes, I did burn garlic. My mother burned garlic to put into things when she flavored them. I don't know. It stuck with me. I don't think it makes anything better. It probably makes it worse. But I can't not do it anymore is probably my answer.
Oh my goodness.
We've also got a couple of eggs that we're going to have, 1 yolk, 1 egg in there, a little bit of flour and butter that we're going to make a roux. And so we're going to go through that batch. That flavored milk can be used for soups, for sauces. So you don't have to think, I just made bechamel. When I say my mother would have this, it's because she wasn't just making a white sauce. She would then use this to make our cheddar ale soup. It would be like, again, utilitarian.
That's brilliant. I love that.
In the
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to strain our liquid.
Once the bechamel is done, Kieron whips up a fresh batch of crepes, which I'm learning are not that difficult to make.
I'm guessing you've made crepes before.
I have.
Okay, so the first
I don't have the
crepes
right pan
always-
though, but you're doing this just in a regular pan.
This is just an old cast iron pan I probably had for 30 years. This is the most industrial, it has traveled with me around the world as these pans. I've got about 6 of them. The first crepe's always terrible, so you can all laugh in this world of what it is. So our next one is going to be our happy place. So pan, dry, tiny rub of oil. You don't want too much in there. Just enough. Don't be tempted to go anymore.
Very thin.
Very thin, happily thin. So then you've got your really nice fallout crepes. So these are just going to cool off for us almost instantly and use them. My mother would have made these and they would have sat in the fridge probably for 2 or 3 days. I'm going to go grab a plate.
The crepes get rolled up with the bolognese filling Kieron made ahead of time and laid out in a shallow pan.
So crepes. Cold is better. I've got the ones I made 2 days ago, so you could experience, like, they're easier to roll, but you want them back up at room temperature. If you take these out of the fridge, and so you do want them to come back up to room temperature. If you take these right out of the fridge, they're just going to crack on you all the way. You're going to take a huge dollop of your bolognese that has 27 ingredients in it. Don't overfill. And then it's a back roll. Tuck in the sides, and then roll that puppy up.
You just made a burrito. Sounds great.
I just made a British burrito in my world. It's like, so I've offended the Italians, the French,
Now the Mexican.
now the Mexicans. I feel like I'm British all through and through in my world of what it needs to be. So lots of bolognese. Don't be shy with how much is in it.
After rolling up and laying out the crepes, Kieron takes some of the leftover bolognese and spoons it along the inside of the baking dish.
Then the trick my mother always would do is she'd put bolognese down the side as extra, because those burnt end bits are the bits that would make you really, really happy. If this was a wedding dish, which I've convinced brides and grooms to have this, which makes me really happy. Like when they have one of those dishes I love, that's kind of their best moments, because I get to them introduce some of my history into them. That can be some of those couples that don't have their own food memories. And
That's
want to create
exactly.
some.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Like, what do? You do you give them? Is there like a
Starter kit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can go with this, or this.
I usually will try to have them express where they've eaten or what they've eaten on a day. So we've sometimes asked them, like, can you write me a 7-day meal record? So I want to know what you eat. And it's shocking how much people eat all the same things and there's no variety in their world. You know, like everyone's having spaghetti, everyone's having their pasta, or they're having their
Pizza night,
taco night, all of those things. It's kind of sad in that that's where it is. And then we'll really go into like, where's your family come from? What's your history? And then I'm like, great, I'm going to put some things in front of you. Do you want to have these? They've usually told me things they strongly dislike.
Right.
And so there's usually like, I don't like mushrooms, I don't like this. We sometimes will get we trust you, just make us something. Even when we don't know them, those are the really fun ones that make us really happy. There is always something, and even if it's not culinary, it's an emotional thing, or where did they live, or why don't they have a food memory? Ari, famously, the founder of Zingerman's, used to eat Kraft mac and cheese as a kid, and he has one of the best food businesses in this country, importing food from all over the world. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's where you want to go culinary-wise. And I have kids that like ramen noodles, and that's okay. It hurts my soul, but it's okay.
Back to his own favorite dish. On top of the rolled crepes, Kieron pours the bechamel. He adds Irish cheddar cheese and American Parmesan called Stravecchio on top, and then drizzles reduced balsamic vinegar, just like his mom used to do.
You didn't drown it in
No,
the sauce. It's
I
beautiful.
know.
You just sort of
So
lay
it's
it
just
on
over the top. So if you're just listening to this and can't see a picture of it, we just ran the bechamel over the top and the middle of it. There is exposed different aspects of
Right.
the crepes, the bolognese, the cheese and all of it, so it can caramelize differently over time. There is nothing at this point that's scary. You are just trying to make it hot and get them to caramelize in the oven.
After the crepe cannelloni bakes and caramelizes, Kieron serves the dish with burnt buttered toast rubbed with garlic and crunchy Parmesan twills.
This is probably not the prettiest food you probably have on this podcast.
It's beautiful.
But it's going to change your insides. So happy.
Oh my gosh. It's the meat sauce is amazing. And it's not heavy. It's flavorful, but it's not like super heavy cheesy like lasagna can be.
Okay, so it's not winning any beauty contests, but that first bite hits. The bolognese is rich and wine-forward, wrapped in those soft crepes that have soaked up everything. The bechamel cuts through the intensity of the meat, and those crispy edges against the soft center keeps you going back for more. It truly is one of a kind, just like the wedding experiences Kieron hopes to create for his clients. He brings that same care and passion to every menu he crafts.
The hard ones are when you get grandma's biscuit recipe or grandma's biscotti recipe or Uncle Jeff's this, and you have not made it right. It doesn't matter, because they have given you a scrap of paper with almost no information, and they want it to taste exactly how they remember it. And like, well, that's never going to happen. So those, I think, are probably the hard ones, like whether it was a biscotti recipe or something else. Sometimes you made it better, and most of the time it is not up to muster of what they want to be. And that's when we get the back and forth. And I think that's the joy of like your memory, when you get to flash back and be like, oh, I remember my mother's Yorkshire. I'm sure they weren't as good as I remember them. I hope they weren't as good as the way I remember them. But like, I can never recreate that joy that I had as a child eating them, or the ignorance of not having eaten other things. So they were as good as they could possibly be.
Kieron hopes the couples that get married at Cornman carry their special day for a lifetime. And he feels strongly that no one's wedding should involve dried chicken or mediocre mac and cheese.
I want food that you can interact with for the rest of your life. So like, we did a wedding last weekend and they had polenta. I want them to make that polenta next month. And they're like, oh, when I eat that polenta, it's like being at my wedding again. And I know, as a parent, and the struggles of becoming a parent, and you know, you get married, you might have kids, and like that tough days that you go through, to be able to time travel back to that point when life was easy. You got married and you had one of the best days of your life. That's a pretty powerful thing. And I think sometimes if you go to those weddings where there might be really elaborate things, you can't recreate those at home. And it's not the same experience. You might go back to that restaurant or have that caterer do something, but imagine being able to stand around a kitchen table with your significant other, with your kids, and be able to remake the thing that you had at your wedding. And I think the farm's not going anywhere. This is my life. This is the last job I will ever have. You can come back here. We've had people plant things with us and come back to harvest things with us, even after they've left. We have people come back with their farm babies and they want to just take a picture for the day. Like, that's a pretty wonderful place to be.
That's it for this episode of The Dish. As we wrap up our conversation with Kieron Hales, we want to let you know that we're going to take a short break. We'll be back in the new year with new stories, new chefs, and of course, new dishes. In the meantime, we'd love to hear from you. Tell us about a dish you've recently had that you can't stop thinking about. Is there a chef you love? A restaurant we should know about? Drop us a note at thedish@michiganpublic.org. And if you've been enjoying the show, please share it with a friend and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in the new year. Today's episode was produced and mixed by me, Mercedes Mejia, edited by Ronia Kabansag and Laura Weber Davis. Music from Blue Dot Sessions and Audio Network. The Dish Podcast is a production of Michigan Public.